Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have an HP Pavilion laptop. This is an HP Pavilion x360m. The exact model for this one is an 14m-dh1001dx. That's a specific variant on x360 models. That information can be found on the bottom of the laptop. It's like really engraved on the bottom, you can see it. But in this video, I'm going to go over how you can open it up and how you can repaste, clean up the fan system and the whole heatsink. This applies for any HP Pavilion x360m model, 14m. So just remember, by doing your own servicing, cleaning up, you're not going to change anything in the system. Everything's going to be left the way that it was before. You're just going to power it on, and it might take 5 to 10 seconds before it boots up, and it might give you that CMOS reset to default, because we're going to disconnect the main battery, and when you do that, the BIOS will reset to default. It's not a big thing. Just give it up to 15 seconds and just press enter. Next boot is going to be everything normal, so don't panic. You should be doing your own servicing, cleaning once every year, year and a half, depending how often you use the laptop. If you are really using it 6 hours a day, then you might want to repaste it. Alright, so first thing first, you want to power it off and you want to flip it upside down. And down here, you're only going to see 2 visible screws. These are really tiny screws in front, and there's a hidden screws. Before I get started, we're going to go over the tools that I'll be using. Tool number 1 is an iFixit screwdriver set. I really recommend this one, as I purchased mine with a basic tool set. They have one of the screw bits out there. One of the best is a really toughened screw. We are going to be using a Phillips number 00 and Phillips 0 from this tool set. If you get a pro set, they will include you with an opening tools and some tweezers. If not, just grab the basic set. For the opening tool, you're going to be using a guitar pick. A metallic guitar picks are really suitable to opening cases and covers. You will need a curved or straight tweezers, a plastic spatula, and a very important one is an alcohol, isopropylic or isopropylic alcohol, 98% plus. Don't get anything under 98. 97 it could do it, but 98 to be on the safe side. One important one is 1 sheet of the workshop towel. Many people keep asking in the comments, can I use a microfiber towels? I will say you could, but I won't recommend you. The reason is because the microfiber towels, the strings on those towels, they can get stuck between the capacitors and they can rip the capacitors while you're cleaning. But on the other hand, this microfiber towel, as soon as you put an alcohol over and you try to clean the motherboard, this will rip apart and will not prevent the damage on the motherboard. With these two on hand, we're going to use a good thermopaste. I'll be using Arctic MX4. You can use the new version Arctic MX6, which are really good. If you want to go over the budget and overkill, go with Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. Again, I'll leave the link in the video description in case you want to purchase yours. Alright, with this on hand, let's get it started. First thing first, you're going to remove these 2 screws on the front end. These are 00. And keep them in different pile. Now, to remove the hidden screws that are in the back cover underneath here, you're going to use a opening tool and you're going to stick it right underneath this one, and you want to peel it off, bring it up to a little bit here, and you want to use a Phillips number 0. Even back down. I'm going to use my finger. And you want to remove this screw. And this screw is much bigger than the front ones. Same thing in here. There's one more screw in here. Remove it. If yours is not sticky anymore, don't put a super glue or anything like that. Just get a double-sided adhesive tape and put it right underneath. Alright, once we have that one in place, now we need to open up the bottom cover. I know that there's a motherboard stuff in the front, in the back end, so I'm going to start from the front side where the screw is. I'm going to stick the guitar pick right there, about 2 or 3 millimeters inside, and we're going to just do this, and we're going to work ourselves in the front end. Just peel it off, go to the side. Once I did the front and the side, I'm just going to bring it like this, up and down, and it's just going to loosen up the rest of the clips. These clips do make a sound when you pop it open, and it sounds like just breaking them, but it's not. Once you remove it, grab a toothbrush, used or new toothbrush, I don't know where mine went, and you can clean the dust mesh right over here. And the way you can even wash this one and leave it for drying for a day. And down here, we have the whole motherboard, the battery, and everything else. Yours, it might have a little dust mesh over here on here. You can dump it out and just remove it. You don't actually need it. It just obstructs the airflow. Just remove it. So before we do anything, we're going to disconnect the battery. To disconnect the battery, we have to remove the battery. So we're going to grab Phillips 00. We're going to remove 2 screws in the front and 2 screws between the jack and 1 right in the corner. So remove pretty much any screw that touches the battery. Keep this screw in a separate pile. Now you want to grab the battery by the connector right in, near the connector right in here. You want to bring this side upward and remove it. This is a 3-cell battery. Now we can safely work in here. You're going to remove this gaffer's tape. Just peel it off. Bring it to one side. You're going to disconnect this flex cable right here. Just lift up this tiny black one, bring it 90 degrees upward, and slide back the flex cable. Same thing in this side. Slide it back and put it to one side. And you can see in one side it says power, another side is MB. MB stands for the motherboard. So this side goes to the motherboard and this side is power. It goes to on this side. Doesn't matter if you switch it, it's still gonna work, so don't worry about it. Now we're gonna disconnect the fan. To disconnect the fan, I'm not gonna yank on these fragile cables. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put these tweezers on the side of the jack, and I'm gently gonna push it backward. Don't yank on it, and we're gonna disconnect it. We are gonna remove the 4 screws on the heatsink. These are tiny screws. Also, if you guys like my videos, if you find my videos helpful and helping you guys out, you can support the channel by clicking that like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. It helps and motivates me to make more videos, take requests, and answer your questions in the comment area. Appreciate that. So we remove the 4 screws. We're gonna lift off from here, bring it up, and there you have your really tiny, flimsy heat pipe. If yours is really dirty, use a toothbrush to clean it up. The fan, you can clean up the fan here with a toothbrush and blow some air, or you can just remove it, remove the screw right beside it. And they screw right over here. These are the chrome screws. Just bring it up. And you can take it outside and clean it. Never leave the fan plugged in if you want to clean it. Otherwise, you're going to generate enough voltage and reverse voltage, and you're going to pump it back to the motherboard and you can damage it. Always disconnect the fan before blowing any air. Alright, once you clean it up, let's say that it's cleaned up. I'm going to open up later on, but it's pretty clean. Yours might be really clogged up. You want to put the fan down first. Make sure it goes right in this pinhole right there. It sits nice and snugly. You want to put the 2 screws for the fan. Alright. Now we're going to clean up the heatsink and the CPU. So we're going to put an alcohol right on top. And we are going to wipe on the CPU. Just grab those big chunks, flip it inside out. And you can see this one rips apart and it doesn't damage anything on the crystal or on the CPU. Just clean it up nicely. And use the same one to remove the big excess of the thermal paste. Dump it. You have a little corner. Alcohol. Do a secondary pass. Gentle, don't bend the tubing. Put your fingers always at the back. Use a dry part to clean it. Thermal paste. 1 on the main die, on the CPU die, and 1 drop on the secondary die. People always ask me, why there's 2 CPU crystals in here? They are not 2 CPU crystals. The main die, this bigger one is the CPU crystal die. This second one is called a PCH chip. The PCH chip on a different model, they used to be separated and they used to be in a different place with its own heatsink. Now they brought it back in near to the CPU in greater, faster communication, and they use 1 heat pipe for both. Alright, now we're gonna bring up first put the heatsink right in here. Make sure it's nice and in front of the fan. Drop it down. and you want to put an X cross shape, this screws right on top. Never go clockwise or counterclockwise, always go in an X shape, crossover. So I did one over this side, then I'm gonna do this one, and the next, doesn't matter wherever you start from. The reason that we do cross screwing is because the thermal paste evenly will spread out over the CPU and the PCH chip. There we have it. Now you can bring this gaffer tapes over, and there we have it. Connect the fan if you haven't connected. Most people, even me, sometimes I do forget them if I rush. Always connect the fan. Grab the battery. The battery down here has a little, what's called pinhole. Drop it right in there. Before we do this one, let's go ahead and put this flex cable. I forgot. So it's open up the lock, 90-degree upward. This goes inside the connector, and lock it down. Same thing on this side. My fingers are really big, it doesn't go in there, and lock it down. So put the battery, drop it right on top, and put the 5 screws on the battery. You don't need to go crazy and tighten up too much, otherwise you're going to break the plastic on the battery. It's not a big deal, but you don't want to break anything. Alright, now that we have that one plugged in, nicely ready to go, grab the bottom cover, bring it over, and push the corners. You want to hear those click sounds in the back, all those nice click sounds that you want to hear. If you see any gap opening, just pinch them together and it will go to its place. To finish it off, is to just put the bottom screw right on top. I will power on the laptop so you guys can see that it does power on. And if it doesn't, my client will be really upset. So let's go ahead and put this screw back down here. And switching the screw bed to a 00 and put the 2 screws in the front. So let's grab it. And let's go power it on. Press escape. It might take a few seconds for it to boot, so let's see if it's gonna give me anything on the screen. I'm pressing escape because I want to go to the BIOS. I don't want to boot the Windows, otherwise it's gonna show the name of the client. So it's taking some time, so I'm just gonna, there you go. It says CMOS check some invalid, CMOS reset to default. While I was reading it, I install reset, and I'll keep tapping escape. So I'll press F10 and I'll go right in the BIOS, and there we have it. And this is how you clean and repaste your HP Pavilion x360. I hope you guys like this video and helped you guys out. If you have any question or requests, feel free to leave them in a video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next videos.